Okay, so shalom. So that type of attitude is pretty much Satan, right? So what I want to do is I want to read you something, okay? And I want you all to pay very close attention, okay? I want to go to, let me see if I can just sit this up here so I don't got to hold it, okay? I want to go to Ezekiel, okay? I want to go to the 28th chapter of Ezekiel, all right? Ezekiel chapter 28, and it says, the word of Yahuwah came again unto me. So this is Ezekiel talking. And he said the word of Yahuwah. So in other words, Christ came to him. God came to him and he said, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus. Okay? Say unto the prince of Tyrus. Now, what I need you to understand is that the prince of Tyrus was a king. Okay? He was a man just like you and me, and he was a king. Okay? Christ went to Ezekiel and he said, I want you to say to the king of Tyrus. Now, when you think of a king, you think of a person who is high and lofty, right? Who's sitting on his pomp, he's sitting on a throne, right? So, many of us, and we are kings, black men, we are kings, right? But you have to understand that we have not yet been put back in our kingship. We've had our kingship stripped from us because of our turning back, because of our turning our backs on Yahuwah, our disbelief and our lack of trust in our Elohim and our power. So, with that being said, you have to understand something, right? So he says, Son of man, I want you to say to the prince of Tyre, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, your power, because thine heart is lifted up. See, this is what he's saying to the king. He wants Ezekiel to deliver this message to the king. Now, I want you to pay very, 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 very close attention, because I told you who's behind that type of attitude. Satan and his minions. Now he's going to say, go say to the king of Tyre, because you have become arrogant, and thou hast said, I am God. I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man. See, he's telling them, he says, yet you are a man, right? And not God. Though thou set, see, if I was God, right? If I was God, then I would be able to do anything I want to do. And nobody can stop me, because I'd be invincible. I can go out here and literally do whatever I wanted to do. But every single man, every man and woman, and I know I do, because I remember when and I hate to keep talking about, because I certainly wasn't, listen, all of us men here in Philadelphia, the vast majority of us come from the streets, okay? I was not one of the toughest people in the streets, okay? I was just a brother who knew some people and who grew up in the midst of it, right? I was never a Jimmy Superfly Snooker guy, right? I was always a humble man for the most part, So, I know firsthand that I walk under guidelines. If you're a man or a woman and your heart pumps blood, and you breathe air, and you have flesh and bones, if you're a human being and you don't understand that you have guidelines, that's a problem. Because this message is about us as a people. This message is about us as a people, and the reason why we're in our predicaments, and the reason why our predicaments are getting worse. The hustle is getting harder. Have any of you understood that? The hustle and the grind is getting harder. And I want you all to understand something very important. Now, I'm not saying there aren't some men out there that have money and stand on relatively good principles. I've mentioned some names before, right? There are some men that have money, and I believe that they stand, and I could be wrong, but I'm only going based upon really my opinion, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure. But even with the Spirit, even with the Ruach of God, I still don't know. Like, I've named some men that I thought stood on some good principles, like Dame Dash. What's the guy turned rapper, used to be a basketball player. I can't think of his name right now. Popular, but that just goes to show you how my mind thinks, right? I happen to think 50 Cent is one of those guys too, right? I just never got that just never came across me that he did something twisted. Now, we all have to, to reach a certain amount of money. Master P, that's what I was trying to think of. So I'm not saying that there aren't men out there that have money and that I do believe kept their morals intact. Okay? But even so then, that's just the case. In order to get for so much money, you got to step on a person or two, right? That's just the way it works, right? But for the most part, I do believe that there's men out there whom have kept their morals intact, right? But what was I saying, right? Because so what I'm saying is that you have to have an understanding, right? Because my point was, Tyrus, the king of Tyrus, thus saith Yahuwah, because thine heart is lifted up. Okay? And thou hast said, I am God. I sit in the seat of the seas of man. Oh God. Okay, though you're not God, though thou set thy heart as God. All right. So, in other words, all of us have to, in order to get to a certain point, you understand what I'm saying? You got to hustle, right? And you have to be assertive, no doubt about that, right? And all of these things, right? But you have to understand something very critical, okay? Because this is the reason why he's telling him right here. He wants you to go and talk to the king of Tyre, the king of Tyrus. And he said, I want you to go say to him, because thy mind has become arrogant, and thou hast said, I am Yahuwah. I sit in the seat of God. Because now, did he really say that? Did the king of Tyre say that? You have to understand how Christ operates. The camera's over here. You have to understand how Christ operates, right? Christ doesn't operate like that. The king of Tyrus didn't sit in the seat and say, I am God, right? That's not what a lot of you brothers and sisters out there do. You don't say, I'm God. Some of you actually do. Some of you say, oh, we know God body, and, we're gods. And, well, you're not gods on that sense yet, because as last I remembered, that was my point too. Last I remembered, me personally, I know somebody can take me out of here, me. And that's why I was very humble in the streets, because I knew that I knew my place. You understand what I'm saying? And I understand that I walk under guidelines. Every person on this planet walks under guidelines. I don't care. It doesn't matter who you are, right? When I walk out this door, I am governed by life and death. Me personally, I know I'm governed. I'm governed by life and death. If 4, 5, 6 police cars roll up on me, what you think I'm going to do? I'm going to jail. That's what I'm going to do. If 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 one police car, you know what I'm saying, right? Want to fight the cops? How can you fight against the biggest gang in the city? We're all under guidelines. Whereas if I want to become wealthy, if I want to become something, whether I'm rapping, whether I'm comedian, whether I'm an actor, whether I'm a singer, no matter what I'm doing, I know that there's somebody that can put me down, somebody that can bring me lower. There's somebody that can bring me higher, and there's somebody that can bring me lower. Right? So, if there's, and I want to say something. I shouldn't be doing this because my memory sucks. But I know where I want to start off at, right? But let me say this real quick. If there's any of you out there, okay, and I don't know, any type of collaboration, right? Whether you're 2 rappers, whether you're 2 movie stars, whether you're 2 comedians, whether you're 2 singers, whether you're 2 Facebook, Instagram sensations, right? No matter who you are, whether you're 2 politicians, whether you're 2 speakers, whether you're 2 podcast people, right? It doesn't matter what you do. If you are an actor collaborating with a rapper, if you're a rapper collaborating with a politician, if you are a social media sensation collaborating with a rapper, but whatever you're doing, whomever you are, whether you're a politician collaborating with a singer, I don't care what it is, right? A comedian collaborating with an actor, or if you're just, or maybe you're a real estate person collaborating with another real estate person, whatever it is, honor your contract. Honor your contract. Okay? Honor your contract. As long as your contract, which you should have never signed it in the first place under these conditions, as long as your contract does not jeopardize your morality, as long as it does not jeopardize you as a man, as a person, as long as it does, and when I say destroying your name, I'm talking about putting yourself into something where your name is going to be destroyed permanently. Because I don't care what you all think, my name is not going to be destroyed permanently. It can't. Okay? It can't. All right? So, but many of you, whether some of you actors and some of you rappers and some of you people up there in the 2, 3, 4, 5, $600 million club, you have to stay in line because you got some dirty secrets that will destroy your name and character forever. And not only that, your name is already destroyed in heaven. Now, that's the reason why, see, you've broken your covenant with Christ, which is the reason why I keep telling you all that many of you all, whom, if you worth all of this money and you did any homosexual acts, if you did any witchcraft acts, if you did any thing with children or anything like that with the case, if if you threw people under the rug in a specific type of way, if you sacrificed people, if a lot of these women out here, they have their firstborn taken. They sacrifice their firstborn to Moloch. And many people sacrifice their mothers and fathers. And then it goes all the way down to having to marry a Caucasian. It's either that or be gay. They give you an opportunity. They give you a chance. They give you a choice. Okay? Some of these women out here were already gay. Like, what's that girl's name? I forgot that girl's name. She was on Dancing with the Stars, right? But in any case, right, you got to understand that there is a judgment coming for all of your pompous, lofty, arrogant, egotistical attitudes out here. Okay? Many of you wanting to reach success and money under any situation, under any circumstance, and things of that nature. Okay? So if there's anybody out here and you're hustling and you're struggling and you're hustling and you're struggling and you fall and you climb and you fall and you climb, don't feel bad. Some of you are hustling and you're in the move. There's this one brother running around here, right? I take my hat off to the young brother. I see him on Instagram. I forgot his name. Buying up a whole heap of houses and stuff. I ain't mad at you, young man. Okay? You keep on in your success and you keep on climbing. All right? And I wish you the best, and I wish you the best. Wish I remember your name. I say your name. I see him out here buying up a whole heap of stuff. Got his brothers out here renting out a whole heap of cars and carrying on. Got 10, 15, 20 cars and carrying on. Making $10,000, $15,000 a month. And yeah. Making good money, right? What's it called? The Toro thing, whatever, whatnot. I see y'all brothers. And I see y'all sisters too. And I want y'all to keep on going and keep on climbing. That's getting it the hard way. That's getting it out the mud. And I take my hat off to y'all. Okay, because that fast money is sticky. It's a sticky situation. Okay, but now I want to continue to read this here, right? Because I want you all to understand where I'm going with this, okay? Because I want you to understand where that pompous, where that egotistical attitude. Oh, and by the way, this message isn't about, like anybody in particular, and anything like that. And I'm going to prove it as I go before, because I'm talking about us as a nation of people. The problem that we've had as a nation of people. Okay. So let me just go ahead. I'm gonna read this over again, but I'm gonna do it swiftly, right? So I don't bore y'all, right? The word of Yahuwah came unto me, Ezekiel, and said, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith Yahuwah, because thine heart is lifted up, because you have become egotistical and arrogant, and thou hast said, I am God. Now he didn't really say he was God, but see, within his heart he was wicked. See, he was uplifted within his heart. He says, I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas. And thou art, yet thou art, so now he's basically saying, yet thou art, but you saying all of these things, yet thou art a man and not God? Though thou set thine heart as the heart of God, so you set your mind to think like God, to think that you are God? See, that's what he meant. See, he says that's what he's trying to say. So he didn't say those things, but he was high, he was lofty-minded, right? Then Christ is going to say, Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches. So the king of Tyre was given wisdom and understanding. By who? By Christ. See, this is the point here. Right? Many of you Negroes and Negroettes out there, you get a little couple dollars, you think you the whole stuff of the whole night. You think you the shit of the night. Right? You get this little couple dollars, you get that little couple dollars, even if it's a little $1 million, little $500,000, little 1.5, little 1.4, right? Now you the whole situation. You the whole situation now, right? Right? Then he's gonna say, then he's gonna say, hell, you was wiser than Daniel. Why? Because he didn't say that. That's not what the scripture says. But how did you get wiser than Daniel? Well, he said that with thy wisdom and with thy understanding, thou hast gotten thy riches. So because the king of Tyre was a, see, we have great businessmen today. We have what's the guy's name? What's his name? Buffett or somebody, Warren Buffett, right? You got you got Mr. Dash, who's an excellent businessman. You got Bill Gates. Well, not Bill Gates. Well, yeah, Bill Gates. You got what's that other guy name? Heck, Mayweather's a hell of a businessman. You have you got what's that? Steve Jobs, or is that who it is? Who's that guy? The head of Amazon or whatever or whatnot, right? You got you have many great business minds out here, expert business minds, even people on lower scales that I see on social media. People I see on lower scales that have awesome business minds, right? And they may not even be like multi-million. They may be 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, $10 million niggas, right? Or 8, 11, 10, 12, 13, 11, 10, 12 $1 million females or whatever or whatnot, right? Hustlers, great business minds, right? Well, where do you think that you got that knowledge, that ability from? You got it from Christ, right? So he says, with thy wisdom and with thy understanding, that the king of Tyre was a hell of a business. Trump, that's what I tried to mention. Donald Trump, right? He said, with thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. Right? He says, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches. So by his traffic, see, he had a throne. His temple was in the middle of the oceans. He was trading. The king of Tyre was a major trade dude. He like his trade was all over the world. He was a major dude, right? Money. Not only that, he was a king. So he was a king, but everybody, like the whole world needed things. I'm just saying it like in layman terms, like just like America today. Well, we're not the king of our trade. We're not the king of trades, but America is like a big import export place, right? And there's some other. China is an export monster, right? So that's how the king of Tyre was. Like his fronts, his ocean front. The docks around his castle was the traffic. It was crazy, right? It was heavy. He was getting money. The king of Tyre was getting money, right? I can't explain, because y'all go back to Mansa Musa and you say that Mansa, y'all don't even understand, man. The king of Tyre was getting paid, okay? He was getting paid, like, right? So then it's going to say here, he said, so he had great wisdom, and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of your riches. So because of your bread, your heart is lifted up, right? Some of you cats put 15 what's that, 5, 6, 7, $8 million watches on social media, right? I don't really believe that y'all want to do that. I don't believe that y'all want to do that. When you got you want to show off a 5, 6, 7, $8 million watch, when you got people in Africa that don't got a pot to piss in and don't where their next meal is coming from, and you niggas is not even allowed. You're not even allowed to give them anything because your bank account is heavily monitored. Many of you people don't control your own money. No, you don't. Because if you did, you would. Many of you have big enough heart. You have big hearts. Many of you would want. No, you're not obligated to give anybody anything. No, you're not. But I couldn't wear a $5 or $6 million watch and watch somebody starve. See, it wasn't just faggotry going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. That faggotry was just one of the, if not the main thing, one of the main things. But another one of the main things about Sodom and Gomorrah was that there were people that were homeless and starving. And the towns and the surrounding cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, the people in the cities and towns, they were so evil, they were so wicked that they had a law, a mandated law, that if anybody were to feed the starving townspeople, if anybody were to feed the homeless, that there was a heavy penalty placed upon them. Probably, I believe it was death. If you tried to feed somebody home, why? Because they wanted them to die. Because those people had morale and morals, and they wouldn't do the things in Sodom and Gomorrah to get paid. They'd rather die in starvation than to do this than to do the things that in order to get paid in that town and in those cities. They'd rather die in the middle of the street. They'd rather die. They'd rather lose their life than to enjoy the riches with the wicked and the abominable. Right? And then it's going to say here, he says, therefore, thus saith Yahuwah, because thine heart is set, because thine heart is set as the heart of me, as the heart of God, the heart of Elohim. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations. So see, because now you getting all this money and you acting some type of way now, you acting fishy, right? Christ said, I'm going to let some people come in and take it from you. I'm going to bring strangers upon you. Not just any type of strangers, goons, dangerous people that's going to come and they're going to take everything that you stand for because of your pride and your arrogance. And they shall draw their swords against the beauty of your wisdom. What's the beauty of your wisdom? All your riches, your castle, your towns, all your docks, all your billions and billions of trillions of dollars that you got coming in and out. And they shall defile thy brightness. They're going to defile you. They're going to take everything you stand for. All your wives, all your money, all your jewelry. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. See, that's what's going to happen to a lot of you people that don't repent. You people who are lofty in your mind. You have all of these millions and billions of dollars. And in many cases, I understand, because the CIA, the elitists, those whom have men without social security numbers, if Oprah can't give up money like that. Mainly when she used to say, yay, 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 and give away cars and millions of dollars, most of those people were white people. Very, very seldomly did I ever see Oprah give up a car or millions of dollars of that to black people. Why? Because her bank account is heavily monitored. And somebody without a social security number going to come holler at her if she starts giving to people in the hood. That's to keep us down as a unit. These people, they're not allowed to do that. Because if they do that, then you're going to be somebody. It's going to be a ghost. He or she, mainly he, because they might not even be completely human, and he won't have a social security number, and you won't see him coming. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt. Then it's going to say, wilt thou yet set before him that slayeth ye, I am God? Well, I mean, will thou yet say before him that slayeth ye? So when these people, in other words, Christ is saying to the king, say to that arrogant nigga, Ezekiel, go say to that nigga, right? Are you going to say to these murderers, these people without the social security number, these goons, are you going to say to them that I am God? Are you going to use your arrogance and your pomp and and all of these things? What are you going to say to them when they got a sword across your neck? What are you going to say to them? Are you going to be high and lofty minded to them? Are you going to have that? Are you going to be that super Jimmy Fly Snooker person to these people? Right? he said, thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers. For then Christ says, for I have spoken it, saith Yahuwah Elohim. Christ has spoken. Now, I'll be right back.